Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Udanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Udanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodananda Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Ya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parikacharya Satara Sada Shri Srimada's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premsika Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Ki Jai. Jai Radha Krishna Gopa Gopanath Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Guruni Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Navdeep Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru Angaranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 60. And this is text 31. We're continuing in the conversation between Krishna and Rukmini. Sri Krishna is teasing Srimati Rukmini, and this is a continuation of that pastime. Ayam hi paramo labho Griheshu griha medinam Yannamayar iyate yama Priyaya birubamani Ayam hi paramo labho Griheshu griha medinam Yannamayar iyate yama Priyaya birubamani Ayam hi paramo labho Griheshu griha medinam Yannamayar iyate yama Priyaya birubamani Ayam hi paramo Griheshu griha medinam Priyaya birubamani Ayam hi paramo labho Griheshu griha medinam Yannamayar iyate yama Priyaya birubamani Ayam hi paramo labho Griheshu griha medinam Yannamayar iyate yama Priyaya birubamani Ayam hi paramalabho Griheshu griha medinam Yannamayar iyate nama Priyaya Birud Bhamani. Ayam hi paramo labho. Griheshu griham medinham. Yanna mariyate yama. Priyaya birubhamani. I am this, he indeed. Paramaha, the greatest. Labha, gain. Griheshu, in family life. Grihamedinam, for worldly householders. Yat, which. Narmahi, with joking words. Iyate, is spent. Yama, time. Priyaya, with one's beloved. Biru, O timid one. Bhamani, O temperamental one. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. The greatest pleasure worldly householders can enjoy at home is to spend time joking with their beloved wives. My dear timid and temperamental one. Please repeat. The greatest pleasure worldly householders can enjoy at home is to spend time joking with their beloved wives. My dear timid and temperamental one. Purport. The word bhamani indicates an angry, passionate, temperamental woman. Since lovely Rukmini did not become angry despite all provocation, the Lord is still speaking facetiously. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyanan Gyanan Shalakaya Chakshu Unmeditangena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminitanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachi Charane Nirvasesa Shrunyavari Praschachadesh Charani Vanchakalpa Charuvyas Cha Kripa Sindhu Bhebicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Before going on with the reading the tikas of the acharyas, I think it's important to note one particular line in this verse, Griheshu Grihamedinam. Now Prabhupada alludes to this this fact of the difference between a grihasta and a grihamedi many times throughout his purports, many times. And this principle of the bindingness of materialistic householder life is emphasized in the teachings of the Bhagavatam many times. Maybe not with this griheshu grihamedinam line, particular words, but in the teachings of Lord Rishabdev, the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, particularly deal with the fact that materialistic householders are stuck in a blind well. They are unfortunately happy in this world to the point where they don't want to hear anything else. they're thinking, yes, life is pretty good. I've got money, I have a nice wife, I've got a family, I've got everything I need to enjoy here. I'm pious. I go to church, temple, or mosque. I pray to God for happiness in this world. And I'm hoping that in the next, after my death, that I'll get a nice reward for being such a good person in this life. So, grihe shu griha medinam. Well, it's interesting that this actual portion of a verse, grihe shu grihe medinam, is only mentioned actually explicitly twice in the Bhagavatam. And we hear it a lot, and Prabhupada references it very often in his purports, but it's actually only mentioned once before this point in the Bhagavatam, in a completely different setting. At the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, this verse is mentioned, actually, not quite at the very beginning, it's actually the second verse of the first chapter of the second canto, where Shukadeva Goswami is beginning to answer the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. Now, Parikshit Maharaj has a very good question at the end of the first canto, actually coming up in Canto 1, Chapter 19, and verses 37 and 38, where he's asking Shukadeva Goswami, what's he supposed to be? He's going to die in 7 days. What am I going to hear about? What's important for me? And he says in verse number 37 of the 19th chapter, "You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I'm therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, especially for one who is about to die." Of course, he's got a 7-day notice. He knows in 7 days he leaves. And we have really no notice. Although we act as if it's really down the road a ways, as you get older, the road definitely gets closer and shorter, and there's a sign that says, road out ahead, please get off the highway. But we just keep rolling down the highway towards the end of the road, which is, well, depending on who you are, that end of the road's a different place. Hopefully for devotees, the end of the road isn't really the end of the road, it's just a continuation of our service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the point is that everyone's about to die, and Prabhupada oftentimes used the example of someone renting an apartment. And the apartment lease says you can be kicked out any time. You're not like, my lease is up in August. No, my lease could be up any time my landlord feels like kicking me out. No one would sign a lease like that. I mean, my God. You might just get yourself into the apartment, and then he comes in the next day and says, take everything out. You're done. Where am I going to go? That's your problem. You signed the lease. It says you can be kicked out at any time. So we should understand that we can be kicked out of this body at any time, so we should be ready to be prepared. And being prepared for us is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, with as much sincerity and focus as we can. And we should be striving for perfecting our chanting. And we should be hearing from the Bhagavatam and associating with devotees and seeing the deities, worshiping Tulsi, doing those things that keep us in touch with the spiritual energy. Now, Parikshit Maharaj's question goes on to another part. This is the second part, and probably the most important part. Please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship, and also what he should do. Please explain all this to me. So then Shukadeva Goswami he answers his question. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nirnam Santi Sahasrasha Apashyatam Atmatatvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. There's the Griheshu Grihamedinam in a completely different context. The word for word here is very interesting. Apashyatam, of the blind, Atmatatvam, knowledge of the self. Those people who are blind of the knowledge of themselves, they're called Griheshu Grihamedinam. And what does he say in the translation? It says, those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, leave many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor. So the first thing he says is, you know what? Most people are simply interested in politics, science, social, economic, sports, whatever, lots of things to talk about. And they're interested in keeping themselves comfortable. This is 212. They're interested in keeping themselves comfortable and enjoy life. And Prabhupada says that ultimately this enjoyment is focused on sex enjoyment. I mean, it has a lot of other ramifications. It goes into so many behaviors that go on through life. Grandparents and parents and children and aunts and uncles, social life, competition. And Prabhupada talks about how the Grihimedis are always fighting amongst each other. It's called keeping up with the Joneses in Western terminology. My house has to be better than your house. My husband or wife has to be better than yours. My kids are smarter than yours. And I'm better than you. But it all boils down to enjoying sex pleasure at some level or another. And Prabhupada even gives that example when Akbar was Akbar was a very noble Mughal ruler. He was wise. In fact, he even had association with Rupa Goswami. I mean, he knew the Goswamis. And so the story is told that he had a wise advisor. And he kept advisors who were not Muslims too. I mean, but it doesn't say in the story who the advisor was exactly. But it says that Akbar was curious to the fact that how is it that someone is attached to sex life right up to the end of his life? I mean, after all, I mean, when you should be over that eventually. And his advisor said, well, not really. And he said, come with me and bring your beautiful daughter with you. And so he goes with Akbar to a place where a man is on his deathbed. And as they walk in, the man gazes at the emperor and pays him no heed, but his eyes immediately focus on the beautiful girl. And so the advisor says, see, he's still attached to the idea of enjoying sex life. So this idea of being a Grihimedi is to actually be enjoying ourselves. And this is a big obstacle to understanding the absolute truth or understanding how to become Krishna conscious. So how is it that Griheshu Grihamedinam is being used by Krishna himself in the 10th canto? Well, in this case, the Griheshu Grihamedinam, Krishna is speaking about what is enjoyable for a householder. And even a grihastha has enjoyment within his or her household, because that is the sort of comfort that's being given to those particular personalities, and that's most of us, who still have attachments, but understand that these attachments are impediments, and they're not something to be strived for. And for the average person, the striving for these anartas is life. I want more impediments. I want to enjoy the impediments of this material world so that I can, really, really be happy. Therefore, even they'll take medication so that they can enjoy their sex life even when the body is not working. They want to have another impediment to their spiritual advancement. But Krishna is not teaching us about an impediment. He's teaching us about the bliss that can be had between two personalities who are not bewildered by material energy. In this case, his griheshu grihamedinam is not some sort of a lesson that is being learned about what we should get away from, but what we should enjoy within a rasa in our spiritual, in our lives. And for devotees who are living in grihastha ashram, there is a certain rasa that we can have with our spouse, our children, etc., because we understand that these temporary relationships are just what they are. They're temporary relationships that are helping us understand, all of us, everyone involved, that we have an eternal spiritual relationship with Krishna. And actually, if we go to the 69th chapter of Krishna book, where the great sage Narada visits Krishna in his palaces, he sees all sorts of activities being done, and he marvels at these activities. And ultimately, it's stated that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was engaged in his so-called household affairs in order to teach people how one can sanctify one's household life, although one may be attached to the imprisonment of material existence. This is a pastime. Actually, one is obliged to continue the term of material existence because of household life. But the Lord, being very kind upon householders, demonstrated the path of sanctifying ordinary household life. Because Krishna is the center of all activities, the life of a Krishna-conscious householder is transcendental to Vedic injunctions and automatically sanctified. So this pastime of Krishna and Rukmini, or the pastimes of Krishna with Satyabhama, or the pastimes of Krishna with his various wives, these are instructive for us. And they're not instructive just for us to learn about how to act. They're instructive because they're purifying, because they're part of the Bhagavatam. Just as when we read the stories of Krishna and the gopis, these pastimes of boyfriend, girlfriend, frolicking around in sort of like what Krishna Prabhupada says, it's just like some kind of romantic story in the world. But it's not. Because by hearing about Krishna and the gopis, we become purified of our lust. And by hearing about Krishna and Rukmini and Krishna and his other wives, we become purified of our attachment to this material world as householders. We become freed from becoming grihamedis, and we become more fixed in grihastha life. Now, at the very end of this chapter, 69, there's what's called a palashruti. Palashruti is a benediction that comes at the end. We see them a lot. If you read this every day, something will happen. Well, here's the palashruti for this chapter 69, the very last paragraph of in the Krishna book. And it's very important because it goes with what we're hearing today. In narrating the activities of Lord Krishna in Dwarka, Shukadev Goswami explained to King Parikshit how Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, descends to this material universe by the agency of his internal potency and personally exhibits the principles which, if followed, can lead one to achieve the ultimate goal of life. All the queens in Dwarka, more than 16,000 in number, engaged their feminine attractive features in the transcendental service of the Lord by smiling and serving, and the Lord was pleased to behave with them exactly like a perfect husband enjoying household life. This is the example given by Krishna. This is being used in service. These beautiful queens are serving Krishna with their beautiful feminine attractiveness, and he's enjoying. This is the connection of servitor and servant. I mean, servant of Vishaya and Ashraya, the server and the served. Krishna is enjoying this. One should know definitely that such pastimes cannot be performed by anyone but Lord Sri Krishna, who is the original cause of the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the whole cosmic manifestation. So this perfect husband, this apparent human being in some ways, sort of, who's now joking with Rukmini, he's the cause of everything, the universe. Of course, you can't really love that cause of the universe because it's just so powerful. Like the Empire State Building, you know. How can you can go, wow, but how can you love the Empire State Building? You might love someone in it, but how can you love it? Anyone who attentively hears the narrations of the Lord's pastimes in Dwarka or supports the preacher of the Krishna consciousness movement will certainly find it very easy to traverse the path of liberation and taste the nectar of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and thus he will be engaged in Krishna's devotional service. So by hearing these pastimes and by hearing the activities of Krishna with his beautiful queen Rukmini, we are becoming purified, and our path back to perfection is being opened. Now, let us read from the tikas of the acharyas, because they're speaking about not so much of this didactic teaching here, we just kind of went through, but more of the rasa that's happening here in the relationship between Krishna and Rukmini. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has a very short tika, but they're always good because I already read the purport. Previously. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur speaks, you become unhappy. This is Krishna speaking. You become unhappy with, this is Rukmini speaking, excuse me. So Rukmini speaking to Krishna. You become unhappy with my services such as fanning, but derive pleasure when I give up those services and use angry words against you. You are not pleased to see my smiling face, but you are pleased to see my frightening face with moving eyebrows, discolored by anger and disfigured with sorrow. Is this your nature? He answers with this verse, householders derive the greatest pleasure from joking like this. Hey, this is fun. Unfortunately, or maybe it's not unfortunate, there's no unfortunate here, but in Vrindavan, and this was alluded to by yesterday in the tikas and by Mother Urmila in her class, you have you have Chandravali and you have Radharani. And Chandravali, her love is called Grita Sneha, which is like ghee. And ghee is very thick and it's very soothing, but it's not very exciting. And Radharani's Madhu Sneha, which is like honey, very sweet. And sometimes a little, if you ever got this hot honey with the chilies in it, it can be a little spicy too. So Krishna was much more is much more attracted to the sweetness of Radharani's love. Because Radharani, she feels that Krishna is mine. In other words, if you look at all the pastimes with Krishna and Radharani, Radharani's teasing Krishna on a whole lot. And Krishna is desperate oftentimes. But we don't read much about Chandravali. In fact, when I looked up Chandravali, there's precious few references to her in the Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada doesn't really speak much about her either. But Chandravali is very, very, very dear to Krishna, but it's just that Chandravali feels that she's Krishna's. So when Krishna wants to have a relaxing time without any hassles, it's Chandravali. So that's Rukmini. So it seems to me that when Krishna is in Vrindavan and he's a boyfriend, girlfriend, that's the young, frisky stage, and you want to have some excitement. Maybe in household life you'd like to have a wife who's a little more peaceful. Because Satyabhama, who's wife number 2, she's actually the expansion of Srimati Radharani. And as we know, Satyabhama is rather spicy. She accompanied Krishna when he invaded Baumasura's fortress. And when he killed the Mora demon, she was right there saying, kill him and kill Baumasura. And when they went to the heavenly kingdom, and Krishna was going to get her a parijata flower to match the one that he had given to Rukmini, who was very pleased with this getting a flower. Satyabhama demanded, I want the whole tree. And so Krishna, he probably said, if I go for the whole tree, that Indra's going to flip out, and we'll probably have a fight. And she said, well, that's what I want, honey. And so Krishna did it. So these are the wonderful, sweet pastimes. And let's go on and hear from Jiva Goswami. I have done this because this is the happiness of householders who are present in their houses. This excludes happiness from husbands who are absent. 1 prahara should be spent with the beloved. That's a measurement of time. I think it's 48 minutes. Since you are the most beloved of all my consorts, it is proper to spend such time with you. O fearful one, you are worried because of your dakshina nature endowed with fear, not because of intelligent analysis of the situation. So, your emotions are taking you away, you're afraid, and you haven't really looked at it clearly here. Oh, beautiful woman, Bhamini. But it's also that beautiful as a woman is, Bhamini is, oh, temperamental one. Now, giving up your angry portion, understand that I have spoken in order to have fun. His words, do not hate me, Vaidarbhi, were also spoken in jest. Don't hate me. He's just joking around. He thought as follows. Rukmini has most sincere prem, which is most profound. Therefore, the anger and love that I desired, or specific words and symptoms revealed because of prema, do not appear in you distinctly. You just don't give me that tussle I want. In the absence of generating anger, I will attempt to make you utter some special words. I'm just trying to needle you. Whatever happens will be very amusing. It's going to be fun. Let's play the game. Disfiguring your brother caused you to become angry and was not fitting as far as you were concerned. You got angry then when I cut up Rukmini's hair. But the happiness of not being separated from me is your very life. You will possibly become angry if I defeat this pride. But even then, if you do not show anger because of the fear of separation, you will reveal strong prema with your words, along with special transformations, even now, as you did before meeting me. So, something's going to happen and it's going to be really good. Of course, that's going to be fainting, and then she's going to come back. Rukmini's going to come back and then rebut everything he says. I'm going to skip this next section here so I can read Sanatana Goswami, because the next section is a little bit technical and we're running out of time. Sanatana Goswami. This certainly is the greatest happiness in the houses for householders initiated into the dharma of house with 5 sacrifices, etc. So, happiness in the home is to have this rasa. Now, in the material world, all rasa is fraught with some danger. Because what happens in the material world, because we've got this envy and this hatred deep down, icha, dvesha, samute, now everyone's born into this material world bound by desire and hate, that this joking can become abusive because someone has a seed, or maybe not a seed, maybe they got a big chunk of envious hate in their heart. And therefore, the joking can become really, really sick. But there's nothing sick in the spiritual world because it's all blissful. So there's no dangers. That's the bliss of the spiritual world. Even when there's, quote, danger, there's never danger because Krishna is in control and everybody ultimately knows somehow or other that this is just fun. It's not, there's no risk. This happens in the house. If the husband is away, the happiness would depend on other factors. Or it should happen privately in the house, not in an assembly. This joking between husband and wife isn't public. One cannot derive such happiness immediately from other types of enjoyment. One can enjoy for one prahara in this way. You are dearer to me than anyone else, priyaya. Therefore, it is proper to joke with you in this way. Please understand this. I'm only doing this because you're the best, the most beautiful, the most lovable personality. It's not meant to cause you pain. Oh, timid one, you become alarmed because a chaste woman has a timid nature. The quality does not manifest by thinking. It's just there. It's your nature. It is appropriate that you show anger and love. O angry woman, Bhamini, but should not show suffering. So show anger. That's what I want. I want some anger, some spice. Come back at me with some good words. So this can be fun. But don't show suffering. I'm not trying to give you suffering. There is no suffering with Krishna. Of course, there's suffering, it's not suffering. There's no suffering with Krishna. So this is the blissful story of Rukmini and Krishna. She's going to faint, and then she's going to come back at Krishna with some pretty strong words. But that's what Krishna wanted. He wanted that. He didn't want just simply, oh my God, you're going to leave me. No, he didn't want that. He wanted, what are you talking about? Don't talk to me that way. So we'll stop there because this is such a blissful portion of the Bhagavatam. And tomorrow we'll continue to hear more about the wonderful story of Rukmini and Krishna joking in their palace. I'll stop there. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Yes. Yeah, people can't understand the joy, Rudrani said, that the devotees are experiencing in Krishna consciousness, and therefore they're not willing to enter into that happiness. Let me say this. It's really important for us to experience the joy. And when there are some problems, we should realize the problems are like the little bumps in the road that we can't avoid, and we just move on beyond them. There are some bumps in relationships. They should not take over the bliss that we can experience in our relationships with each other, in our relationship with Krishna. So let those bumps go by. You know, love means to love that person warts and all. You know, oh, I don't love you because you have, you know, like a spot on the moon. The moon has a spot. It does. You look, there's dark areas. But the moon is still lovely, no matter whether it has those spots or not. So, there are no spots on devotees, but there may be spots in my consciousness, so I don't want to ever find fault. Hey, Krishna. I guess that's, we're a couple minutes over here, maybe. But anyway, time to stop.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Maravindadalayataksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priyavriti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham
Gokula Ranjana Kana Yasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Yasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Yasomati Nandana Ranjana Kana Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidana Kaliya Damana Vidana Kaliya Damana Vidana Damana Vidana Amala Harinama Miya Vilasa Amala Harinama Miya Vilasa Amala Harinama Miya Vilasa Amala Harinama Miya Nasaram Vipinan Purandaran Navina Nagara Bara Vamsivadana Suvasa Vipinam Purandaran Navina Nagara Bara Vamsivadana Suvasa Vipinam Purandaran Navina Nagara Bara Vamsivadana Subhasa Vipin Rendara Navina Nagara Bara Vamsivadana Subhasa Vajajana Palana Surakula Nasana Vajajana Palana Nashana Rajajana Palana Surakula Nashana Kamana Kalana Surakula Nashana Nanda Godana Rakowala Nanda Godana Rakowala Nanda Godana Rakowala Nanda Rakwalam Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Nita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanahara Rasarasika Kripa Moya 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 Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natabara 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 Bhakti Vinodashraya, Bhakti Vinodashraya, Bhakti Vinodashraya, Bhakti Vinodashraya, Yasomati Nandana Brajaparanagara Gokula Ranjana Kana, Yasomati Nandana Brajaparanagara Gokula Ranjana Kana, Amala Harinamami Abhilasa, Amala Harinamami Vilasa, Amala Harinamami Abhilasa, Amala Harinamami Vilasa, Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara, Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara, Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natabara, Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natabara, Bhakti Vinodashraya, Bhakti Vinodashraya, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe, Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe, Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe, Jaya Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai. Lord Krishna is beloved son of Yashoda, transcendental lover in the land of Braj, the delight of Gokula, known by the nickname Kana, the wealth of the lives of the gopis, the attractor of Cupid, and punisher of the serpent Kaliya. These pure holy names of Lord Hari are full of sweet nectarian pastimes. Lord of the 12 forests of Braj, ever youthful, the best of lovers, player of the flute, an excellent dresser. Protector of the inhabitants of Braj, destroyer of the demoniac dynasties, keeper and tender of Nanda's cows, giver of pleasure to cows, land, and spiritual senses, husband of the goddess of fortune, butter thief, and beautiful little cowherd boy of Nanda Maharaj, wanderer of the Yamuna riverbanks, thief of the garments of the gopis, enjoyer of the mellows of the rasa dance, very merciful, lover and beloved of Sri Radha, the great dancer of Vrindavan, and the only shelter of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Chaitodarpanam marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratibanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudan Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amita Smarane Nakala Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajakadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatat Bhakti Ahoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishamevavam Budao Kribayata Vapata Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintayam Nayanam Galadashu Daraya Vadanam Gad Gurudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlisha Vapadamritam Panastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatu Lampato Mat Prananatastusa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate, no attraction for them. One should chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a mind, one can chant the name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the in your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation and considering a moment to be like 12 years or more, tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. No one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. And we'd like to thank Santosh for addressing Shri Radha Golokananda so very nicely. Such Brahminical taste. Hare Krishna. And the cooks downstairs, we thank them too.